The hospital hallways were eerily quiet, illuminated only by the soft glow of fluorescent lights. It was well past visiting hours, and most of the patients, especially the children, were asleep. Nurses made their rounds in hushed movements, their eyes weary from the long shifts, unaware of the unexpected guest about to enter their world. At the back entrance of St. Jude's Children's Hospital, a black SUV pulled up, its windows heavily tinted, its arrival unnoticed by the media or the public. The vehicle came to a silent stop, and a lone figure stepped out into the cold night air. Wrapped in a long, elegant coat with a scarf pulled over her head, the woman moved swiftly, her heels barely making a sound against the pavement. Melania Trump had arrived. There were no flashing cameras, no press releases, no grand announcements, just a quiet, determined visit. A deeply personal mission. A hospital administrator, who'd been discreetly informed of her visit an hour prior, rushed forward to greet her. His voice was respectful, but laced with confusion. "Mrs. Trump, we weren't expecting—" "I know," she said gently, offering him a reassuring nod. "I didn't want anyone to expect me." The administrator hesitated for a moment, then led the way through a side entrance. The First Lady, former First Lady now, had always been a figure of grace and mystery, but tonight there was something different about her presence. This was not a public appearance. This was something personal. As they walked down the dimly lit corridor, Melania's eyes scanned the walls, where colourful drawings from children adorned every inch. Some were hopeful, depicting blue skies and smiling suns. Others were more solemn, small hands trying to express pain in the only way they knew how. "Which room?" she asked softly. The administrator hesitated again, shifting nervously. "Mrs. Trump, I must ask, why the secrecy? If the press knew you were here, this would be—" Melania turned to him, her deep brown eyes filled with something unspoken. "Because this isn't about publicity," she said. "It's about them." She gestured toward the closed doors of the patient rooms, where behind each one lay a child battling the unimaginable. The administrator nodded slowly, finally understanding. He motioned toward a door at the end of the hall. "She's in there," he said. "Her name is Lily." Melania's steps were deliberate, her heart tightening. She had read about Lily, a 7-year-old girl with leukemia who had written a letter that somehow, miraculously, had found its way to her. A letter that had changed everything. Taking a deep breath, Melania gently pushed open the door and stepped inside. Lily was awake, and the moment the little girl saw who had entered, her eyes widened in disbelief. You actually came." Lily's voice was barely above a whisper. Melania offered her a warm, genuine smile. "Of course I did," she said. "You wrote to me, didn't you?" The child's frail fingers gripped the edge of her blanket. Tears welled in her eyes as she nodded. In that moment, the weight of the visit settled in. Melania Trump wasn't here as a political figure. She wasn't here as a former First Lady. She was here as a mother, as a woman who had read the words of a suffering child and could not ignore them. And before the night was over, this secret visit, this unannounced act of kindness, would touch millions in ways no one could have predicted. Melania sat down on the chair beside Lily's hospital bed, her movements graceful but unassuming. The beeping monitors and the faint hum of hospital machinery filled the small room, but at that moment nothing else existed, just the little girl and the former First Lady. Lily's tiny fingers trembled as she reached under her pillow, pulling out a slightly crumpled piece of paper. The letter. I didn't think you'd really see it," Lily whispered, her voice fragile, like the flutter of a butterfly's wings. Melania took the paper gently, unfolding it with care. She had already read it, more times than she could count, but seeing it in the little girl's hands made it all the more real. "Dear Mrs. Trump, My name is Lily, and I am 7 years old. The doctors say I have something bad inside me, but I don't like to think about that. My mommy says to be strong, so I try. But sometimes being strong is really hard. I saw you on TV once. You were wearing a beautiful white dress and you looked like a princess. I think princesses are kind and make people feel better. That's why I wanted to write to you. I don't need anything special. I just wanted to know. How do you stay strong when you feel sad? If you can't write back, that's okay. I just wanted to try. Love. Lily Melania swallowed the lump forming in her throat. She had read hundreds, maybe thousands of letters during her time as First Lady, but this one had reached into her heart and held on. She looked at Lily, who was watching her with wide, hopeful eyes. "You are very brave, Lily," Melania said softly, "and strong, just like your mother says." Lily bit her lip. "But I don't feel strong." Melania reached over and gently took the little girl's hand in hers. "Do you know a secret?" she asked, leaning in slightly. Lily shook her head. "Sometimes even grown-ups feel like they are not strong, even princesses." Lily blinked, surprised. "Really?" Melania nodded. "Yes. There are days when we feel sad or scared. But do you know what helps?" Lily shook her head again. Melania squeezed her tiny hand. "We find someone who believes in us, someone who reminds us that we are not alone. Like your mommy, like your doctors and nurses, and like me." Lily's eyes shimmered with unshed tears. For a moment there was only silence. Then, barely above a whisper, Lily asked, "Will you stay? Just for a little while?" Melania smiled and tucked a strand of hair behind the little girl's ear. "I will stay as long as you want me to." Outside the room, the hospital administrator stood frozen in the hallway, his phone buzzing with unread messages. He had seen many high-profile visitors come and go, shaking hands and smiling for the cameras. But this was something different. And before the night was over, the world would find out exactly how one child's letter and a secret visit would inspire millions. For the next hour, Melania remained by Lily's side, their conversation drifting between soft giggles and quiet moments of reflection. The hospital room, once cold and sterile, now carried a warmth that hadn't been there before. "Do you like drawing?" Lily asked, pointing to the stack of paper on her bedside table. Melania nodded. "I do. Do you?" Lily beamed. "I love it. I draw when I feel sad. It helps." She reached for her coloured pencils, her tiny fingers struggling slightly as she pulled a blank sheet forward. "Can we draw together?" Melania smiled. "Of course." She picked up a pencil and began sketching slowly, glancing over at Lily, who was already focused, her brow furrowed in concentration. A few moments later, Lily turned her drawing around. "It's you," she said proudly. Melania's heart swelled as she looked at the simple but beautiful drawing of a woman in a flowing dress, wearing a crown. "You made me a princess," she said softly. Lily nodded. "Because you're kind, and kind people are the real princesses." For a brief second, Melania felt something tighten in her chest, a mix of gratitude and sadness. She had spent years under the public eye, judged by millions, but in this little girl's eyes, she was simply someone who had shown up, someone who had cared. Melania reached for another blank sheet. "Then I shall draw you as a princess too," she said. Lily's face lit up with pure joy. As they continued to draw, the door suddenly creaked open, and a woman hesitantly stepped inside. Her eyes were tired, her expression lined with worry. It was Lily's mother. "Oh my God," she whispered, one hand covering her mouth in disbelief. "You're really here?" Melania stood up, offering the woman a gentle smile. "You must be Lily's mother." The woman nodded, still overwhelmed. I don't know what to say." Lily turned excitedly to her mother. "Look! She's drawing with me!" Tears welled in the mother's eyes. She walked over and cupped Lily's face in her hands, pressing a soft kiss to her forehead. Then she looked at Melania. "Thank you," she said, her voice trembling. "You don't know what this means to her. To us." Melania touched the woman's arm reassuringly. "She is a very special girl." The mother wiped at her eyes. "She's been so tired lately, but I haven't seen her this happy in a long time." For a moment, neither woman spoke. They simply looked at Lily, who was already reaching for another colored pencil, humming softly to herself. Then Lily suddenly looked up. "Mommy, can I tell her?" Her mother hesitated. "Sweetheart." Lily turned to Melania, her expression serious now. "I made a wish." Melania knelt beside her. "A wish?" Lily nodded. "I wish to meet you." Melania felt her throat tighten. Lily's mother swallowed hard. "She told me weeks ago that if she could meet just one person, it would be you." Tears stung Melania's eyes, but she blinked them back, reaching for Lily's small hand. "Then I am honored to be here," she said, her voice thick with emotion. For the first time in a long time, Lily looked completely at peace. Outside the room, a nurse, who had been watching through the small window, reached for her phone. She hesitated for a moment before snapping a quiet picture. Not for the press, not for any public announcement, but simply because she knew what she had just witnessed was something rare, something beautiful. A moment that deserved to be remembered. What she didn't know was that within hours, that picture would find its way to the internet. And the world would react in a way no one expected. By the time Melania quietly exited the hospital late that night, she had no idea that the world had already taken notice. As she slid into the back seat of the black SUV waiting outside, she exhaled deeply, the weight of the evening settling over her. She had planned to leave unnoticed, without cameras or press, just a quiet visit to bring comfort to a little girl who had written her a heartfelt letter. But the world had other plans. Several miles away, in a modest apartment across town, a young nurse named Rebecca sat on her couch, scrolling through her phone absent-mindedly. She had uploaded the picture she took just an hour earlier, Melania Trump, seated beside a beaming Lily, the two of them sketching together. It wasn't meant to be a big deal. The caption was simple. This wasn't a press event. No cameras, no reporters. Just a little girl's wish, and a woman who made it happen. Kindness matters. She didn't expect much, maybe a few hundred likes from fellow nurses, a few supportive comments. But by the time she refreshed her screen, the numbers had skyrocketed. Within minutes, the post had thousands of likes, then tens of thousands. By morning, it had gone viral. Social media exploded. Major news outlets picked up the story, and soon hashtags like "A Melania Inspires," "A Kindness Matters," and "Lily and Melania" were trending worldwide. People from all walks of life shared the post, praising Melania's quiet compassion. She didn't do it for the cameras. That's what makes it so powerful. At Inspire Daily, a little girl battling illness wanted to meet her hero. And her hero showed up. This is what the world needs more of. At Humanity First, celebrities, politicians, and even critics of Melania Trump found themselves agreeing on one thing. This was an act of pure kindness, free from politics or publicity. But the most powerful reaction came from an unexpected source. One of the most shared posts of the day came from an account no one expected: Michelle Obama. She shared the viral image with a message that read, "No matter our differences, showing up for others is what truly defines us. Beautiful moment, sending love to Lily and her family." It was a rare moment of unity in a world often divided. But while the internet buzzed with praise and admiration, back in the hospital, Lily's mother was too overwhelmed to keep up with the flood of messages and news alerts. She sat at her daughter's bedside, watching as Lily slept, still clutching the drawing Melania had made for her. She had no idea that this single visit, this one quiet night, was already inspiring millions. And it wasn't over yet. The next morning, as the world continued to buzz about Melania Trump's visit, Lily's hospital room remained a peaceful sanctuary. The little girl was still asleep, her tiny hand resting on the drawing she and Melania had worked on together. Lily's mother, Emily, sat beside her daughter, sipping coffee and scrolling through the overwhelming flood of messages on her phone. Friends, family, even strangers had reached out, offering words of support and admiration. Then her phone buzzed with an unknown number. Hesitantly, she answered. "Hello? Good morning, Ms. Carter. This is Daniel Reynolds. I work with the office of Melania Trump." Emily nearly dropped her phone. Oh my gosh," Daniel chuckled. "I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time." No, not at all," Emily stammered, still trying to process what was happening. Is everything okay?" "Yes, absolutely," he reassured her. Mrs. Trump was deeply moved by her time with Lily last night. She wanted me to personally reach out to check on her and see how she's feeling today. Emily's heart swelled. That's incredibly kind of her. Lily had the best night she's had in months. She hasn't stopped talking about it." "I'm so glad to hear that," Daniel said warmly. Mrs. Trump also asked if she could do something special for Lily. She didn't want to overstep, but she was wondering if Lily had any dreams or wishes she hasn't been able to experience yet. Emily's breath hitched. Lily had one wish that she had spoken about countless times, but Emily had always dismissed it as impossible. She loves the ocean," Emily finally said, her voice thick with emotion. "She's never seen it in real life. We've always dreamed of taking her to the beach, but with her condition, traveling has been difficult." There was a brief pause on the other end of the line. "I think we can make that happen," Daniel finally said. Emily covered her mouth, tears spilling down her cheeks. "Mrs. Trump would like to arrange a special trip for Lily and your family to the beach of her choice, with all expenses covered. She wants Lily to experience the magic of the ocean." Emily let out a soft sob. This wasn't a publicity stunt. It wasn't a grand political gesture. It was simply kindness. Pure, genuine kindness. Emily wiped her tears and took a deep breath, trying to steady her voice. "I don't even know what to say. This is more than we could have ever imagined." On the other end of the line, Daniel's voice was warm. "Mrs. Trump doesn't want anything in return. She just wants Lily to have a moment of joy, something she'll never forget." Emily glanced over at her daughter, still peacefully sleeping, completely unaware that her greatest dream was about to come true. "She always talks about Clearwater Beach in Florida," Emily said, her voice trembling. "She saw pictures in a magazine once, and she's been obsessed ever since. She says it looks like heaven." Daniel chuckled. "Then Clearwater Beach it is. We'll handle everything, travel, accommodations, even medical support to make sure Lily is comfortable and safe." Emily covered her mouth, overwhelmed. "I can't thank you enough. Please tell Mrs. Trump how much this means to us." "I will," Daniel said sincerely. "Expect a call later today with all the details." As Emily hung up the phone, she sat in stunned silence. A simple act of kindness had set off a chain reaction that she never could have anticipated, and Lily had no idea what was coming. Meanwhile, in a quiet private office, Melania Trump sat behind a desk, scrolling through the endless stream of messages about her visit. She wasn't used to this level of public praise. Her time as First Lady had often been marked by scrutiny rather than admiration. But this wasn't about politics. It was about a little girl. She picked up her phone and dialed a familiar number. "I need a favor," she said, as soon as the person answered. The voice on the other end chuckled. "I was wondering when you'd call. What do you need?" Melania leaned back in her chair, a small smile playing on her lips. "I need Clearwater Beach to be ready for a very special guest." Later that afternoon, Lily was sitting up in her hospital bed, coloring a picture of a beach scene: soft blue waves, golden sand, and a bright yellow sun. Emily sat beside her, barely able to contain her excitement. She knew she had to tell Lily about the surprise soon, but she wanted the moment to be perfect. Just then, a nurse walked in with a bright smile. "Lily, you have a special video call." Lily's eyes lit up with curiosity. "Who is it?" The nurse simply handed over the tablet, and as the screen flickered to life, Lily gasped. Melania Trump's warm smile appeared on the screen. "Hello, Lily," she greeted gently. Lily covered her mouth in shock. "It's you! You came to see me last night," Melania chuckled. "Yes, I did. And I wanted to talk to you again because I have a little surprise for you." Lily's eyes grew wide. "A surprise?" Melania nodded. "I heard that you love the beach and that you've always wanted to see the ocean." Lily's jaw dropped. "Yes, it's my biggest dream." Melania's smile deepened. "Well, how would you like to visit Clearwater Beach?" Lily blinked as if she hadn't heard correctly. "Wait, what?" Melania leaned closer to the screen. "You, your mommy, and your family are going to the beach, Lily. Everything is taken care of. You're going to see the ocean." For a moment, there was only silence. Then Lily let out the loudest scream of joy the hospital had ever heard. "Are you serious?" she squealed, practically bouncing in her bed. Melania laughed. "I am very serious." Tears streamed down Emily's face as she watched her daughter glow with excitement. Lily was still in shock. "I'm really going to see the ocean?" Melania nodded. "Very soon." Lily clutched her heart. "I don't even know how to say thank you." Melania's expression softened. "Just be happy, Lily, that is all I want." As the call ended, Lily turned to her mother, her eyes shining with joy. "This is the best day of my life." And for the first time in a long time, Emily truly believed that more beautiful days were ahead. The next few days were a whirlwind of preparation. Emily could hardly believe how smoothly everything was falling into place. Melania Trump's team had arranged a private medical flight, ensuring that Lily would be comfortable throughout the journey. A luxury beachside resort in Clearwater had been booked, with specialized medical staff on standby to assist if needed. More than anything, Lily's excitement was contagious. The little girl, who had spent so many months confined to hospital walls, now had something to look forward to, something that felt like a dream come true. On the morning of their departure, nurses and doctors gathered in Lily's hospital room to say their goodbyes. "You deserve this, sweetheart," one of the nurses said, hugging Lily tightly. "Go touch the ocean for all of us, okay?" Lily giggled. "I will, and I'll bring back seashells for everyone." As they stepped outside, Lily's eyes widened at the sight before her, a sleek private jet waiting just for them. Her tiny hand squeezed Emily's. "Mommy, is this real?" Emily smiled through her tears. "Yes, baby, it's real." Melania Trump's team greeted them warmly as they boarded the plane, ensuring every detail was taken care of. Lily was given a plush blanket, a window seat, and even a small stuffed dolphin to keep her company. As the plane took off, Lily pressed her hands against the window, watching the world below shrink into tiny patches of green and blue. "I feel like I'm flying to heaven," she whispered in awe. Emily wrapped an arm around her. "No, sweetheart. You're flying to the ocean." And for the first time in a long time, Lily truly believed that the world was full of magic. The flight was smooth, and as the plane descended toward Florida, Lily could barely contain her excitement. From her window she saw endless stretches of blue water shimmering under the golden sun. "Mommy, look, it's the ocean!" she squealed, pressing her little hands against the glass. Emily smiled, brushing back her daughter's hair. "Yes, sweetheart, you're almost there." Once they landed, a private car was waiting to take them to the resort. Every detail had been thought through. Lily's wheelchair had been arranged, medical assistance was on standby, and they were escorted with care and kindness. As they approached the beach, Lily's breath hitched. The smell of salt, the sound of waves, the cool breeze against her skin. It was everything she had dreamed of. "I want to feel it," she whispered. Emily and the staff gently lifted Lily from her wheelchair, allowing her to feel the warm sand beneath her feet. The little girl wiggled her toes, giggling at the sensation. Then, with slow, careful steps, Emily helped Lily walk toward the waves. The moment the water touched her skin, Lily let out a gasp. "It's warm," she giggled, looking down as the tide gently rolled over her feet. She bent down and scooped up a handful of foamy water, letting it slip through her fingers. Melania Trump, who had been watching from a distance, approached with a gentle smile. "How does it feel, Lily?" she asked. Lily turned to her with shining eyes. "Like I'm part of something bigger, like the ocean is hugging me." Melania knelt beside her. "That's because it is." Lily reached down and grabbed a tiny seashell. Clutching it in her small hand, she whispered, "I'm never letting this go." Melania smiled. "A little piece of the ocean, just for you." As the sun began to set, casting golden hues across the sky, Lily closed her eyes, feeling the waves wash over her feet. For the first time in forever, she wasn't thinking about hospitals, doctors, or pain. She was just a little girl standing in the ocean, feeling the purest form of happiness, and the entire world was watching. As the golden sunset bathed the beach in a warm glow, a photographer from Melania Trump's team discreetly captured the moment. Lily standing in the shallow waves, her tiny hands clutching the seashell, her face lit up with pure joy. That single image, shared later on social media with the caption, "A dream come true." Lily by the ocean spread like wildfire. Within hours, it was reshared by thousands, then millions. People from around the world were moved to tears by the sight of a little girl once confined to a hospital room, now standing at the edge of the vast ocean. News outlets picked up the story, and soon the world was talking about Lily's beach day. Back on the shore, Emily wiped her tears. "Lily, sweetheart," she whispered, kneeling beside her. "You're standing in the ocean." Lily turned to her, her eyes glistening. "I know, Mummy, and I don't ever want to leave." Melania Trump, who had been watching the exchange, gently placed a hand on Emily's shoulder. "She deserves this," Melania said softly. Emily nodded, overwhelmed with emotion. "You gave her something I never could. You gave her a dream." Melania crouched beside Lily, her voice warm. "You have the heart of a fighter, little one." Lily giggled. "I just wanted to see the ocean." Melania chuckled. "And now the whole world is watching you live your dream." At that moment, Lily had no idea how true those words were. As the days passed, the video clips of Lily's beach day went viral. People shared the story on every platform: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and even TikTok. News anchors discussed the incredible act of kindness by Melania Trump, and some praised her for showing the world a softer side of herself. But the story didn't end with just one kind gesture. Melania's act of compassion sparked a global conversation about kindness, empathy, and the importance of fulfilling the dreams of children battling illness. Across the country, people were inspired by the image of Lily standing in the ocean, her face full of joy and wonder. Organizations began raising funds to send other children with terminal illnesses on dream vacations. Hospitals received calls from individuals and groups who wanted to donate to these children's futures, making their wishes come true. In Clearwater Beach, a small plaque was even erected in honor of Lily's journey, with the simple inscription, "To the little girl who touched the world with her courage." As for Lily, her life took on a new sense of purpose. She received letters, gifts, and donations from around the world. People who had never met her sent messages of love and support, and many shared their own stories of struggle, healing, and hope. "I never imagined something like this would happen," Emily said, as she watched her daughter hold a new stuffed dolphin, a gift sent from a family in Australia. Lily, however, had remained the same sweet, humble girl. She didn't fully comprehend the scope of the attention she had received, but she was grateful for the kindness that flowed toward her family. "I want to do something for them too," Lily said one afternoon as she carefully organized the cards and gifts. Emily smiled softly. "What do you want to do, sweetheart?" "I want to make sure other kids get to see the ocean," Lily replied, her eyes filled with determination. And just like that, a dream was born. A dream not only for herself, but for others who, like her, deserved a chance to feel the magic of the world. The impact of Lily's story continued to grow, and soon it wasn't just about her experience. It became a movement. Emily and Lily, with Melania's guidance, began working on a new initiative, Waves of Hope, a foundation dedicated to fulfilling the wishes of children battling life-threatening illnesses by providing them with experiences that would bring them joy, much like Lily's trip to the beach. The foundation quickly gained traction. Donations poured in from all over the world. Celebrities, philanthropists, and everyday people reached out to contribute, eager to be part of something so powerful. "Mommy, we're really helping them," Lily said one evening, watching the news coverage about the foundation's launch. "We're making their dreams come true, just like mine." Emily's eyes filled with tears. "Yes, sweetheart, you are the reason all of this is happening." Melania Trump continued to be a strong advocate for the foundation, sharing Lily's story and supporting its mission. She spoke about it during interviews, encouraging others to contribute in any way they could, whether it was through donations or simply spreading the message of hope. One day, Melania surprised Lily with a letter. "I've received a donation for the foundation, Lily," she said as she handed the envelope over. "It's from a family who wants you to know they're inspired by your courage." Lily opened the letter eagerly, her eyes scanning the words. "They're giving us enough money to send 4 kids to the beach." "4?" Emily gasped. "That's incredible," Lily beamed. "I'm going to make sure they all get to see the ocean too." It was clear that Waves of Hope was just the beginning. The foundation grew, sending hundreds of children on dream vacations, providing them with experiences that made them feel alive, joyful, and special, just like Lily. But the impact wasn't limited to vacations. Waves of Hope started to work with hospitals to bring children unexpected moments of joy, surprise parties, concerts, outdoor adventures, and opportunities to meet their idols. As the foundation gained momentum, it was impossible to ignore the ripple effect of Melania's simple, heartfelt act of kindness. People who had been lost in their own struggles found inspiration in Lily's journey. Stories of generosity and love flooded social media. For every sad or discouraging story, there was a shining light, an example of how one person's compassion could change the world. Lily, now an ambassador for the foundation, continued to spread her message of hope wherever she went. "I want every kid to feel like I do right now," she said at one of the foundation's events, standing in front of a crowd. "Like the world is a beautiful place, and anything is possible." With that, Lily's dream had become a reality, one that extended far beyond herself. touching millions of lives and making the impossible seem possible for so many children facing the toughest battles. As Waves of Hope expanded its reach, Melania Trump's involvement continued to be a key driving force. She used her platform to amplify the Foundation's message, connecting with influential figures and organizations to create partnerships that would help even more children. One afternoon, Lily received a call from a group of children's hospitals across Europe who wanted to partner with Waves of Hope. They had seen the impact of the Foundation and wanted to bring the same type of experience to children in their countries. "I can't believe this is happening, Mommy," Lily said, her voice trembling with excitement. "I'm going to help kids all over the world." Emily held her daughter close. "You already are, sweetheart. You've already changed so many lives." But it wasn't just about sending kids to the beach anymore. Waves of Hope began organizing experiences that were deeply personal to each child. For one child in London, it was a day spent meeting their favorite soccer player. For another in Japan, it was a private tour of a zoo where they could interact with animals they had only ever seen in books. The media coverage was non-stop. Talk shows, news networks, and social media influencers were all eager to tell the world about Lily and Waves of Hope. The public couldn't get enough of the story. One evening, Melania hosted a gala to raise funds for the Foundation. It was held in New York City, and the guest list included top celebrities, philanthropists, and politicians from around the globe. The event raised millions of dollars for the cause, but the highlight of the night came when Melania took the stage. "Tonight, we come together for one simple reason," she said, her voice steady and strong. "To make sure every child, no matter where they are or what they're facing, has the opportunity to live their dreams." Lily, who started this journey as a little girl hoping to see the ocean, has inspired all of us. She has shown us the power of compassion and the strength of a dream. Lily, who was sitting next to Emily at the front of the room, felt a rush of emotions as she heard the words. Her dream had truly come true, and it was more powerful than she could have ever imagined. "We have the power to change the world," Melania continued, her eyes scanning the room. "And tonight, together, we will." The crowd erupted into applause, and Lily stood up, overwhelmed by the support and love surrounding her. Later that evening, Emily and Lily took a moment to reflect on how far they had come. "I can't believe this started with a simple wish to see the ocean," Emily said, her voice choked with emotion. Lily smiled. "It's like the ocean gave me everything I needed, and now I'm sharing it with everyone else." As the gala came to a close, the Foundation's future was brighter than ever. With each passing day, the ripple effect of Lily's journey spread further across the globe. More children's dreams were being fulfilled, more lives were being touched, and the world had become just a little bit kinder. Months passed, and Waves of Hope became a household name. The Foundation's success had transcended expectations, and Lily's story, which had once been a personal moment of joy, had turned into a legacy that was changing the world. Melania continued to be a champion for the cause, using her voice to advocate for children's rights, and she partnered with major global organizations to ensure Waves of Hope could grow even further. More children were given the opportunity to experience their own dream moments, and the Foundation began branching out into education, healthcare, and mental wellness programs for kids with life-threatening illnesses. One day, as Melania and Lily walked through the garden of their private residence, they talked about the future of the Foundation. "Mommy, do you think I'll ever meet all the kids who've been helped by Waves of Hope?" Lily asked, her face filled with wonder. "I don't know, sweetheart," Emily answered, holding her hand tightly. "But I know you've already met many of them in spirit. They're all part of the dream you've created." Lily's gaze turned thoughtful. "Maybe one day we can have a big celebration with all of them, in one place. A big party where everyone who's ever been helped can come together and see how far we've come." Melania smiled warmly at Lily's innocence and vision. "That's a beautiful idea. We could call it the Hope Festival." As they discussed the possibilities, the idea of the Hope Festival began to take shape. Lily wanted a celebration where not only children, but their families, volunteers, and donors could come together to celebrate the impact they had made on the world. Melania and Emily worked closely with the Foundation's team to organize the event. It was to be held in a large park, with performances, entertainment, food, and, of course, a special spot for the children who had been touched by waves of hope. Weeks before the festival, the excitement was palpable. Invitations went out to families from all over the world who had been part of the Foundation's work. Hospitals, doctors, and social workers also received invitations, and the media buzzed with the upcoming event. On the day of the festival, as the gates opened, a wave of energy surged through the crowd. There were smiles, laughter, and the joyful sounds of children playing everywhere. Families reunited, volunteers shared their stories, and donors met the kids whose dreams they had helped to fulfill. Lily stood at the heart of it all, her face radiant with happiness as she walked through the festival grounds, greeting everyone she met. She couldn't believe the incredible impact they had all made together. "Mommy," Lily said, tugging at Emily's sleeve, "this is the most beautiful day ever. It's like all our dreams are here." Emily bent down to hug her daughter. "This is your dream, sweetheart. You made it come true." And in that moment, as Lily looked out over the crowd, surrounded by the faces of the people whose lives had been forever changed by her story, she understood. She had started with a simple wish to see the ocean, but now she had built something far greater, a global movement that had inspired millions and left a legacy that would live on for generations. The festival ended with a grand performance, a musical tribute to the children of Waves of Hope. Lily, Emily, Melania, and countless other volunteers took the stage to join in. The crowd cheered and clapped, and the energy was electric as the world witnessed the power of kindness, compassion, and a simple gift that had rippled across the globe. And as the sun set on the festival, the light that shone on Lily was brighter than ever. The world had changed, and it all started with a little girl's dream to see the ocean.